I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Give me a little ambience, Moraduli behind the glass. I would love some right now. Oh, yeah. Theme song to The Natural in the background. Look, I think we have to be measured in our expectations for him. But at the same time, this is the first glimmer of a team that potentially, and I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse, could be getting back to a place where this team was at the end of the 90s and in the early 2000s and have been so far from in all of those 20 years since. There's a lot of hype around this guy in Jarred Kelenic. And the question that I have for today's show is, how much of an effect does hype have on an athlete's career? You can answer that by texting in 710-710 on the Mac and Jack's Brewing Company text line. You can also tweet me at Gallant Says. You can't really expect dominance right out of the gate based off of hype, because you look at a guy like Mike Trout. Mike Trout took some time before he finally turned into the future Hall of Famer, arguably best baseball player ever conversation that will be had after his career. It took him some time to get going on that front. It might even be unrealistic to expect Kelenic to have a clue as to what he's doing in the major leagues by the end of the year, given past prospects. But there is one thing that I feel like will help Jarred Kelenic meet the hype, and it's the confidence that he has. And if you're looking for it, here he is in an Ask Me Anything session on his YouTube channel, talking about how the majors, which he thought as a kid were going to be just otherworldly in terms of how difficult it is, based off of his limited experience, it's not that different than the baseball that he's been playing since he was a teenager.
You see, you have this visualization when you're a young kid that, like, big league baseball is like a different world, right? You go and you sit and you watch the game and you're like, these guys are superhumans. And then not discrediting anyone by any means, but then when you're in those shoes and you're in the batter's box in a big league spring training game, it's no different than the game you've played your entire life. And so, like, that was something that surprised me, is I was like, man, I just like any other fan, I would sit there and these guys are superhumans. I don't know how they do it. Well, it's the same game that I played when I was 13 years old.
He has this calm demeanor with the confidence that I feel like is the perfect thing to have if you are a baseball player. You want to be able to maintain, I would imagine, just a level emotion, whether you're crushing the ball over a couple of games or you're in the midst of a slump. I think you just want to be able to go steady. And I am 100% making too much out of quotes and what I've heard from the guy and from our sit down that we had with him last year at spring training in Peoria. I know this. I will acknowledge it, but I do think that confidence is going to go a long way with him. How far? Who knows, really. The idea that he will be able to be the next Ken Griffey Jr. or Alex Rodriguez or even Ichiro Suzuki, I don't know. I really don't know on that front. I am hopeful, though, and I am optimistic about it, and I feel like because of that demeanor, there is a chance. What is his hype based on? I think partly it's based off of the confidence. Partly it's based off the fact that he is just an incredibly strong player. You've heard some of his teammates talk about him in spring training, how he might be the strongest Mariner right now. 21 years old. Doesn't even have that old man strength, and I guess this is based off of the weightlifting that he does. He has tremendous power. He also has impressive speed, considering how absolutely yoked he is. So you add all of those things up, and it definitely feels like this guy is different than the average hyped prospect that finally breaks it from the minor leagues into the majors.